Hello and welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, your source for all things Everton. My name is Thomas, back on the channel today with another opposition view ahead of what is about to be an extremely busy couple of weeks, but a very important couple of weeks in terms of our survival in the Premier League. First up, West Ham. I'm joined today by Dan Lawless from West Ham Fan TV. Dan, thanks for coming on. How are you doing today?
Yeah, very good, mate. Enjoying the sunshine down south. I know you were just saying it's snowing up your way, but yeah, not too bad at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for coming on, and we'll dive straight into it because obviously we've had a bit of a break from domestic football over the past couple of weeks. Normally when the international breaks come around, I think I find myself missing domestic football. Not really sure that's been the case this time after the season we've had so far. But we'll start with yourselves anyway. You've had a very good season so far, starting in seventh. I know obviously you've been higher than that throughout the year. You find yourselves in the quarterfinals of the Europa League as well. So what have you made of your season up to this point?
Yeah, do you know what? It's weird. Right? It has been a good season. Like Europa League football has been really enjoyable. It's been exciting. You know, we've been playing well there, and once again in a top four race for the second season running. So really can't complain. Frustrations around transfer windows. You know, we should have signed a second striker and strengthened, got a centre back maybe in January to help us, you know, push on and maybe try and clinch that fourth spot or see what we can do in Europe. So that's the only thing that's been frustrating for me is the transfer window because our squad is quite thin, and you can see. But we're even though our squad is as thin as it is, and we're picking up injuries here and there, we're still pushing on. So that's a positive.
Yeah, absolutely. So who does that come down to then? Is it still problems with the board? I know you had all your protests a couple of years ago, or is it Moyes liking to keep a relatively small squad? But who would you put that down to?
Yeah, do you know what? Listen, I've never been the biggest fan of the board, and they do play their part, but I do put a lot of it down to David Moyes. Like you said, he come out and said last year he likes a small squad, but you know, to give youngsters a chance or that, but he hasn't really given many youngsters a go. He sort of plays the same players every week, so we haven't got a chance to rotate. He also, you know, he got the nickname Divering Dave, probably I think back from his time at Everton, just from how he conducts himself in the transfer window, where you'll see someone who's perceived to be, you know, his big target, and he'll track them, then he'll change his mind on a player, and he's been very reluctant to take a risk, it seems. You know, this centre back Kaletakar or whatever, we've been linked with him for quite a few windows now. And you think, well, if you like this player, sign him. Like, you've got an option to get for 10 mil, just sign him. But it's like, yeah, he's an admirer of this player, admirer of that player. So yeah, I do put it down to Moyes. I mean, in some way it's good because we're not filling up the squad full of just, you know, complete wastes of space. But at the same time, our squad is a bit too thin for what we're trying to do. So it's pros and cons. It's a bit frustrating though.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've definitely experienced the filling up your squad with a waste of space, and that also has its negatives, of course. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, your season's going well so far. Moyes has been good for you. So, aside from this transfers, then, from a footballing perspective, yeah, you must be delighted to have him.
Yeah. No, listen, Moyes, you know, I'm really happy. I was one of the people I didn't want him back at all. I was quite vocal about it, and you know, why are we going backwards? Why are we getting Moyes back? And you know, he's proved a lot of us wrong. And yeah, he's just doing a fantastic job. It feels like he's building something. Like, we're not going to be just up and down the table season after season. You know, we're actually trying to sustain what we're doing, you know, actually progress. So he seems to be taking a lot of good control of the club and sort of bringing in the right people, to, you know, reinvigorating the scouting department, all of that stuff. So, and the players seem to really respond to him. He's, you know, when he come in, I think we was the bottom of the table for running stats, and now we're one of the top teams when it comes to running and just the effort he gets putting in. So yeah, look, I do have my frustrations from here and there on certain things, but ultimately he's doing a fantastic job, and yeah, you know, I could be happy. So I'm hoping in the summer he gets some good signings in what he wants and really can take this club to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, from an Everton fan's perspective, as you said there, obviously you weren't convinced on him when you went back for him, and we're all looking at West Ham with a lot of jealousy right now. You know, you've done fantastically in the Premier League, you're doing well in the Europa League as well, and obviously we seem to have the choice between David Moyes and Carlo Ancelotti as well, and of course any day you'd pick Ancelotti, but obviously looking back at it, that was obviously the wrong mistake. So obviously we both found ourselves in that position. But on your squad this season anyway, I know, well, you burst into life at the start of the year, looking at players like Antonio and Ben Rama. Well, especially from a fantasy football perspective, who really were your standout performers. Everyone had them in their teams. But since then, who's kind of materialised? Would you say as your standout performer this season?
Yeah, it's got to be Jared Bowen. Like, he has been unreal this season up until his injury, and I'm hoping somehow he'll be back for this game. But Bowen, like the numbers he was putting out, the goals he was scoring, the assists. I think up until he got injured, he was the only player who was ahead of him was Mo Salah for goal involvements this season, which is incredible. We got him from the Championship, and since we got him, he was always a good player for us. His fitness is incredible, but his finishing let him down, and he seems to really has found his finishing boots this season. So he's absolutely been a standout. Zuma, who I think you guys had one time, right? He played for Everton one time, but that was, I think, a very important signing for us at centre-back. I think if we didn't have him, we'd probably be, a few places lower in the league. He's been a very important signing at centre-back. So, yeah, I would definitely say apart from, the usual, those two have been standout players for us for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe on the other side of that, is there anyone you've been particularly disappointed with this season who maybe hasn't hit the heights that you thought they might do?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one in terms of disappointments. I mean, we've had players that haven't quite played well up to their levels. Creswell, since he come back from injury, hasn't really been as good as he had been. Not that he's been terrible, but I just feel like that he's not up to his usual standards. And Souček as well, he's been a brilliant player, but he's someone, I think, because of our full squad, like he's played so much football. So I think Souček is suffering from a bit of fatigue. Antonio dipped quite a bit, actually. And he's actually getting a lot. He's coming back into form. And I think this international break is going to do him wonders because he's the only striker. So he's been played to death. He's been traveling all around South America and the Caribbean for Jamaica. He's traveling all around Europe and England for West Ham, playing every game. So yeah, I think he started brightly, but he's dipped quite a bit, and he's not involved in the goals as much. So I'm hoping this international break has got him reinvigorated, and he'll come back strong after.
And if we just stay on disappointment for a second and move on to ourselves, really, we've had a very turbulent season to this point, as I'm sure you're aware. So what have you kind of made of our season on the surface of it? If we go kind of pre-Lampard, the past couple of weeks of, I mean, it's still turmoil, but obviously kind of the more headline-worthy stuff came a lot earlier in the year. What have you made of Everton's season so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I thought would happen. I'd done a video for this channel. I was, with a load of other opposition fans, where sort of looking at what we thought of the Rafa appointment and where Everton would finish. So the thing I did think was, I said if he gets, a few bad results and the fans are going to turn on him, I couldn't understand that appointment because as I said, he would have had to achieve something very, very special, either win a trophy or get in Europe for the fans for him to really win the fans over. But I didn't think that you would be in a relegation battle. I did not expect that. I mean, I think I said on this channel, I predicted you guys to finish 9th. I was sort of being generous, but for what could happen. But I didn't think you'd be anywhere in a relegation battle. But some of the decisions and the signings, you have had some injuries, to key players, but I suppose a lot of teams have. But the Digne transfer was baffling, selling him to Aston Villa in January and not really bringing anyone in of note. Like El Ghazi, brought him in, not getting played. And then you got Lampard coming in. When you're in a relegation battle, that's a big gamble as an appointment. That was a huge, huge gamble of a manager there who, it didn't work out for at Chelsea. And, for a manager that comes in when you are in a relegation battle, you need someone that's going to tighten up and steady the ship. That probably the man for that was Rafa, but I think Rafa kind of lost the players, so I think his position was untenable. But yeah, Lampard seems to just play the same way, wants to play on the front foot, and that's not always the way. It seems weird. Everton's seen this club, right? It's this club that you always seem to get, it's hard for you to seem to be getting managers that have that balance. Like you have like, say, Martinez, who's too attacking, and then you might go to Big Sam, who's too defensive, then you go attacking, defensive. It just seems you bounce from that. And I think that's an issue because it's that continuity. You haven't got one manager builds a squad maybe around their attacking philosophy. Then you get another manager in who's a defensive manager who's got to rejig the squad and sign loads of players. Then you get an attacking one after that, and you can't seem to get no continuity in the squad. But it's been really mad to see the form that you've been in. Honestly, like watching it, it's been shocking.
Yeah, no, it has been. It has been very poor, and I completely agree with that. With the managers kind of with clashing philosophies coming in, and we never really had anything particularly consistent. And the style that Lampard's trying to bring in, although it might be good in the future, it's not quite clicking so far in a relegation battle, as you mentioned, where you do need to be tighter. You do need to kind of shore up the defence. But do you see Everton getting relegated this season? Do you see us kind of maybe find our way out of it?
You know what? It's such a tough one because, like, it's literally a couple of results can change everything. If you manage to, which I know that to Everton fans it seems like it's all order, but if you do manage to beat us on Sunday, I would then tip you to stay up. But it's tough because your away form is horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous, and the grounds you've got to go to, including Watford and Burnley, I think away, and if you can't beat those teams away, and if you lose, it's game over because they overtake you. You've also got Liverpool to play, Arsenal to play, Man United, us, Chelsea. I think you got to play Chelsea again. I think you've probably got the worst running out of all of the teams down there. So I think that's a concern. So at the moment, and it's looking likely, unless he can try and get something to click, it's very, I've watched quite a few Everton games in the last few weeks and just seeing the especially away terrible, but home sometimes you'll start brightly and there'll be a bit of fire into the team. The Newcastle result was good, but I don't know, man. It's tight. It's tight. If the three teams below you can't get results, that could be enough. But Burnley, Sean Dyche has been in this position a lot, and he is the manager that you do want when you're down there. And he's a manager that's, funny enough, been linked with the Everton job quite a few times. But yeah, at the moment, if things stay the way they are, I could see Everton going down, which I know if no Everton man wants to hear. But yeah, it's going to be big. Those Burnley and Watford games have to be like cup finals. Like, even though you're away, they need to see it as they're going to Wembley to play for a trophy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, maybe not, because I'm sure if half of our squad ended up in a position to win a trophy, we'd bottle it. So maybe if we don't look at it as a cup final, we look at it as any other game.
No, don't. Pretend it's a home game. That's it. Pretend it's a home
exactly. Game. But if we kind of, I know this seems daft to say, but if we disregarded our away form for a minute, coming to yourselves, how would Everton beat you, or how would any team beat you? Where are maybe some of your weaknesses in your squad that teams can take advantage of?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Do you know what I think? With us, we do find it hard to beat teams a lot of the time that sit back deep, play deep and defensive, which I know he doesn't really do. Lampard, we do find that quite difficult. However, if you do want to go on the front foot and your pressing is on point, you could potentially cause us some problems there with your pressing, because we do like to sort of pass the ball around. We'd like to play sort of like a passing game, with whether it's sideways, forward, looking for the openings, rather than those quick sort of passes that will cut you open like Spurs. So we're not going to play exactly, like Spurs. But you could, if your pressing is good, maybe that could be an option, actually, where you could get us, press high up the pitch, get the ball, win the ball early. And then you're putting us on the back foot and causing our defences problems, and maybe a bit of pace as well down the wings, which you've got the likes of Richarlison. So from what I've seen of Everton, you do definitely have the tools to cause us problems. It's your defence is just terrible. Holgate and Keane, probably the worst centre back pairing in the league, I would say right now. It's there. I can't believe some of the games I watched. Absolutely dreadful. So, that we definitely have to just target those two and put some pressure on them.
Yeah, I'm sure majority of Everton fans would agree with you there. But kind of as we are coming towards the close of the season, and I'm sure maybe a couple of years ago, if someone said to you, you're going to be in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, you're still going to be in this top four fight, but you're currently in seventh, you definitely take that. But what would you take as a success now this season? Because you did start very brightly, and not that you've tailed off, but obviously you do now find yourselves in seventh. Europa League is, well, I'd say it's open, but obviously you've got the likes of the Barcelona that are still left in there. So what would be a success for yourselves now for this season?
Yeah, I mean, look, if we could get to at least the semi-final, look, it's probably likely that Barcelona will get past Frankfurt and we will face them in the semi-final. So look, if we got to the semi-final and we got knocked out by Barcelona, we'd look at that as a good cup run in the Europa League. We'd look at that, I think a lot of people would. And, we get our trip to the new camp. We're close to the final. So that would be good. And then getting back into Europe. I really want to make sure that we're there next season. So if we could finish sixth again, that would be ideal. I would, if we got Conference League, it wouldn't be ideal, but that's the least I would take. And I go, okay, it's still a good season. I think if we finished eighth or lower, to me, it would be a big missed opportunity. I'd be disappointed with that. I want to be back in Europe next season. I've really enjoyed it, but I'm just, if we win that Europa League, I think I'll cry. I think I'll actually cry.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure we'd all fancy a trip to the new camp, to be fair. I'm sure no one would turn that down. No matter if it's in the Europa League or not. But kind of just to my last couple of questions now, kind of focusing on the match itself. As you mentioned, come back from the international break, you're going to have a couple more refreshed players. Not sure if you're going to have any injuries back. So what do you think Moyes will line up with against ourselves on Sunday?
Yeah, it's tough because he's been very coy about Bowen, so we're still not sure. But at the max, at a push, I could see Bowen on the bench. So I think we'll have like Fabianski in goal. Probably stick with Johnson at right back. He's been really good since Soufal's been out with surgery. Zuma and Dawson, who have been a really good centre back pair. Dawson has been such a surprise package for us. He has his moments. But he's been solid. And then probably Creswell at left back. And then you probably Rice and Souček in the middle. And then this is where it's, I think you'll have, because Bowen's not playing, it's actually quite nailed on of Lanzini, Benrahma and Fornals just behind Antonio. So that's it. Unless any of them are injured or pick up a knock or anything. I know Lanzini was a doubt, but I'm pretty sure that's the lineup you can expect to face. Okay,
fantastic. Thank you very much. Last couple of questions, very quick fire.
We have got Vlasic, though, who might play, who I know you guys know.
Just of course, I forgot Nick Vlasic. How's his season been anyway, just before we kind of round off things?
Yeah, do you know what? Just on Vlasic, I like him a lot. I really do like him. He hasn't really established himself in the starting 11. He hasn't had a ton of game time, just because Moyes does like to take his time implementing players. But every time I've seen him, he just looks energetic, very positive. The guy does not like to give the ball up at all. Will do whatever it takes to keep that ball. So I like Vlasic, and I'm hoping that we can see more of him and he can really kick on. But he's good.
Okay, fantastic. So final question then. Score predictions. Who do you think is going to win?
Oh, man. Do you know what? This is so tough. Everton have been terrible lately under Lampard. Your away form is horrendous. You could we have a better group of players, a better manager. But why am I so worried about this game? Because we're West Ham. And I've seen it so many times. These games where you should walk in and be like, we can do this. I think you'll score. So, I'm gonna say 2-1 West Ham. And I know there'll be a lot of West Ham fans fancying this, but do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if you go 1-0 up and then we have to fight back. So I'm worried about this game, because you guys are fighting, you need to win, and who knows? Yeah, we'll see. I'm nervous. It's just one of them things. Anytime that a team, we haven't won away since then, I will come and play West Ham. It's one of those. So I'm hoping that it's a comfortable day for West Ham, but I don't think it will be. So yeah, 2-1 West Ham, I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. And I'd say slightly unpredictable. I'm sure some people would disagree with me there, just considering our away form where you're on the table. But coming off the international break, we're going to have to start winning eventually. I think, well, in theory, if we all go to stay up. So I think it will be an interesting one. I've got no idea which way it might go, but hopefully we get off to a decent start in this kind of last stretch of the season and stay up. But Dan, thanks very much for coming on. If our viewers want to find more of you, where can they find you?
Yeah, West Ham Fan TV on everything. If you want to come and message me personally, connect with me personally on Twitter at @TheLawless, you can follow me there. But no, brilliant. No, thanks for having me, and like best of luck after this game. We have to win this to stay in within the European race. So I'm hoping you can lose this one and pick up some wins elsewhere. Go take some points off Man United and and Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll definitely try our best. But thank you all very much for watching. I'm sure let us know your score predictions down below. Let's hope we can just finally put a string of good performances together, hopefully steer away from relegation, but I'm not sure it's ever that straightforward. But as I mentioned, thank you all very much for watching and join us next time on the Toffee Blues.